Hello everyone and welcome to another webinar from the Wealth Building CPA. I'm your host Yasmin Razak. Now, have you ever wondered what it's like to go through an IRS audit? I know the very word strikes fear into our hearts, but today it's my pleasure to speak with two guests, Earlene Glenn and Tom Barnhill, who have an interesting story to tell related to the IRS and being audited, and how the Wealth Building CPA saved the day. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Earlene and Tom, are you there?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the experience that both of you went through that I know a lot of our listeners will be interested in, because obviously everybody dreads hearing those two words, IRS and audit, in the same sentence, but we're going to talk about how it had a positive outcome. But before we get started into your introduction, guys, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Wealth Building CPA herself, Ebere. As many of you know, Ebere is a CPA, an active real estate investor, and the founder of Wealth Building CPA. She owns real estate investments in 5 states across the Eastern Coast. Her company has helped over 5,000 people just like you prepare their taxes online and offline. And her greatest joy comes from helping clients, friends, and associates become free of financial stress. So if you need any financial or tax advice, you can reach her at the number on the screen. Okay, back to our guests. Here's a little bit about them. Earlene Glenn spent 20 years in an award-winning sales career, including membership in the $100 million sales club. She then returned to real estate, both as an investor, packaging real estate syndications and investor agents, CIAs, which is short for Certified Investor Agent Specialists, working exclusively with investors and private lenders looking to increase their returns by lending to local real estate investors. So Earlene is heavily involved in real estate. Now, Tom Barnhill has been working in the accounting industry for over 15 years. After holding positions as a CFO and controller for 2 large companies in the DC area, he decided to start his own business, helping small businesses with their day-to-day accounting needs. He's been instrumental in supporting the creation of many successful small businesses in the Annapolis and DC area, and still provides accounting services to them today. So that's a little bit about our guests. You'll have an opportunity at the end of the call to contact both of them, either for real estate deals or for bookkeeping and accounting help. So don't worry about that. We'll make sure you get all that information. Okay, guys, we'll start with you first, Earlene, and then we'll get to Tom. Is that okay?
That's fine. Sure.
All right, Earlene, tell us a little bit about your business and how you got into it.
Well, I'm a real estate syndicator and certified investor agent specialist, and I work exclusively with investors and private lenders. And as a distressed property expert, I specialize in helping the investors locate and evaluate underpriced residential and commercial properties. I had originally been in real estate years ago. It was very difficult to do both real estate and medical sales at the same time. But now I especially enjoy working with investors, helping them to move away from the unpredictable volatility of the stock market and moving more toward, directing into their individual retirement accounts or solo 401ks and moving that into real estate, which, as you know, provides higher returns and certainly more tax benefits.
Okay, so you've been busy establishing a successful business, and then one day you presumably got a notice saying that what was happening with your tax returns from the IRS. Tell us about what happened there.
Okay, so the IRS called and said that I was being audited, and basically they said it was a random audit, and they didn't tell you what the problem was with the return. They just said you've been audited. And after our first meeting, found out that there was a confusion over the LLCs and the self-directed income accounts. So there was clarification that was needed in that, and it's my understanding that's what prompted the audit. So the problem seemed to be that there are different IRS departments that process different returns, and so there's a different department that processes the LLCs, the IRAs, and the 401ks. So the link between where the funding and the deductions occurred between the entities had not been made clear, and we needed to work on that.
Okay, so I can imagine how you were feeling. Can you tell us a little bit about that when you first got the notice?
Oh, it was surprising, shocking, but fortunately, 2 years ago, I had read up on the IRS increasing their scrutiny of real estate investors and individuals who self-direct their investments into real estate. And my business partner and I had already consulted with more than a half dozen professionals who set up accounts, and it gives you advice on how to properly structure your self-directed investments to real estate. My big fear was I'd have to waste thousands of dollars proving that I had set everything up correctly. That was my fear.
And that's understandable. So you contacted Ebere, and how did she sort of help alleviate your fears?
Well, she was very calm, very professional, and it was obvious she had experienced audits before. So she advised me to just follow her instructions and we would get through the audit. She was great. As a matter of fact, she was so great that I felt perfectly comfortable terminating the tax attorney I had hired to handle the audit and allowing Ebere to handle the entire audit herself. And it was a great decision because all of her hard work helped us to win the audit. We actually won the audit along with Tom.
Okay, well, that's great. That's wonderful. And so you mentioned that earlier you had actually retained a tax attorney to deal with this.
Yes.
How much do you reckon you saved by letting him go and working with Ebere's wealth building plan instead?
Oh, lots of money. My business partner estimated we saved at least $9,000 in attorney fees based on the rate at which her billable hours were piling up. Those charges were escalating very rapidly. So with the time that I worked with Ebere, that time, had it been allocated to billable attorney hours, it would have been a lot of money. So we estimate that we saved about $9,000 in attorney fees, and that's huge.
Wow, that's incredible, absolutely incredible. So how did Tom help? What did he steps into the story at this point?
Yes, Ebere contacted Tom. Tom created the QuickBook. I know he'll tell you more about this, but he converted all of the charges to the format that Ebere had requested, and it was that accounting system, along with all of the other information, that I really think was key to helping to win this audit. So without Tom providing that information, I don't think the results would have been the same.
Right, okay. And so what have you learned from this whole auditing process? What's it taught you?
Oh, the importance of documentation. You need to take the extra time to ensure that when you're setting up a system that you properly set up a consistent system so that you document all your investment transactions and receipts and store them in the cloud forever.
Forever and ever, never let those things go.
Forever.
Okay, and before we get to Tom, is there any parting advice that you would have for our listeners?
Well, the thrill of becoming a self-employed real estate syndicator, who keeps meticulous receipts, for me was no longer having to answer to doing weekly reports, monthly reports, and quarterly reports when I was working for, someone else. But I honestly didn't know that that one of the protections where lawyers advise self-employed is always keeping a daily, not weekly, daily log of your transactions and your meetings. And I felt such as what I did when I was working for someone else. So I would say document, document, document. You need to have an accounting system such as QuickBooks, Excel, or a bookkeeper, who regularly does your transactions and with the appropriate entries, and just have them on an ongoing basis. So in the event that you are audited, you're ready without having to backtrack and do extra work. So documentation is key.
That's excellent advice. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us, Earlene. Okay, Tom, let's get to you. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do and how you help Ebere and her clients?
Well, the work that I do stems from, having spent a lot of time in the accounting industry and working at a higher level and looking at a bigger picture. So even though a lot of the work is just kind of your basic bookkeeping, it's always keeping an eye on what the bigger picture is and understanding what the client's trying to accomplish. And so, the way that we work well together is I try to get entrenched in the business and the day-to-day transactions and make sure that we're keeping accurate records so the business owner can make sound business decisions, and then Ebere is able to do all the wonderful things that she does for her clients, and really, it enables our clients to not just have one person, but to have a team of people operating at a higher level, allowing them to do what they do best and try to be as successful as they can be.
Okay, great. Now, I know Earlene had spoken earlier about how important it is to have good record keeping. Can you tell us why you think it's so important?
Well, it's interesting because it's extremely important, of course, for, in the event that you get audited. But, the other thing that I try to explain to my clients is part of accounting is seeking the truth, and what you're trying to find out is just how you're operating as a business. And the better record keeping you have and the more tightened up that those things are, the more confident you can be that you are making sound financial decisions, whether it's with growth or adding employees or buying another property. The more information you have and the better information it is, the better decisions it enables you to make for your business.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about the strategies that you use to help Earlene with her audit?
I think that the most important strategy was to take the information that she had and make sure that it tied into the kinds of documents that the IRS would want to see with, tax returns and with bank statements, and just make sure that everything tied together and was as accurate as possible, and then to deliver that to them in a format that they would view as being, professional and acceptable, so that they would have confidence that the information that we're providing is correct.
Okay, great. So the devil's in the details, as you say. The details are so important.
Very true.
Okay, Tom, what advice would you give to our listeners?
I would say that one of the things that I find is challenging for small business owners is to understand that the money that you invest in having someone work on your books on a monthly basis or work on your taxes or the CPA, these items aren't overhead items. These are investments in your business. And the kinds of things that we do and the support that you get are the kinds of things that pay for themselves in the long run. So, know where you should be spending the money that you make on your business and stay involved. You should be working with a team that you can talk to on a monthly basis that can give you support and make sure that, you're not just getting numbers processed for you, but that you're being empowered and educated about your numbers so that you can grow strength as a business owner.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you. I know you've got a great offer for Ebere's listeners. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have decided that for my services, anyone that wants to find out the kind of things that I have to offer and get some pricing on that, obviously getting that price is free. And if they ultimately sign up, anyone that's listened to our thing here today will get 30% off.
Wow, that's a great deal. Would you like to tell us how you would prefer people to get in touch with you?
Sure. Probably the best way would be to send me an email to barnhilltom@gmail.com, or you could give me a call on my phone number, which is 240-400-0164, and my website is www.barnhillaccounting.com, which of course will have both of those contact information there as well.
Great. Thanks so much for doing that special offer just for Ebere's listeners. So I advise anybody listening who wants a good deal on that get your record keeping and all the details together so you never get caught short, to definitely contact Tom at all the information is on the screen in front of you. Thanks, Tom. Now, Earlene, I know obviously you are always looking for deals and probably looking for joint venture opportunities. Would you like to give out any information so people could get in touch with you?
Yes. I'd like to leave my website, which is Real Estate 401k IRA.com. My email address is Earlene Real Estate at Outlook.com.
Okay, that's great. So you've got all the information there to not only make more money through deals with Earlene, but also how to keep on hold of that money by having Tom do some work for you so nobody else gets their hands on your hard-earned money. So thanks so much to both of you for joining us today. And I look forward to sharing this information with Ebere's listeners. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.